top mistakes people make in a crisis. The top mistakes people make in a crisis. Hello, y'all. I'm Dianna Brianne. I don't give advice, suggestions, information, recommendations. I just share with you my perspective on different topics, as is with this one. I hope you like, share, subscribe. All the channel names are pinned to the top of the comment section below. You know, I got to thinking about crisis, and I've done a lot of videos on crisis. And I got to thinking about what are some of the mistakes that people make in a crisis. Well, you know, I believe that it's important to make right decisions when we're in a crisis. It could be a health crisis, it could be a financial crisis, it could be a marital crisis, it could be a relationship crisis, it could be a job crisis, it could be any kind of crisis. Okay, and some of the mistakes I think people make start off with, they become extremely fearful and frightened. And that's a natural response, because fear can be used wisely or it can be used unwisely. And I've talked a lot about fear. Healthy fear is like if a bear is charging at you through the woods, that fear is helping you to be alert, to get out of its way so that you're safe. Unhealthy fear is long after that bear is charged through the woods and never going to come back again. You hold on to that fear as if the bear is going to keep coming at you. So that becomes unhealthy at that point. So when people go through a crisis, often what happens is they become so fearful that they're afraid of making any kind of decisions. They're fearful of making right or wrong decisions. So they don't know what to do. They become extremely fearful. And that can really, really work against a person. We've got to be very alert not to knee-jerk and have a reaction and make wrong decisions. So it's very, very important during a crisis to make right choices, right decisions. And sometimes information that we get up front is not always the best information or even accurate or fully accurate. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. So often, if we have the ability to wait, the longer often that we can wait to make a decision, often we'll gather more information so that we can make the best decision. Sometimes we don't have that luxury, so to speak, and yet often the longer that we can take to make a decision, often the better. And so one of the other things I see, people make great big decisions during a crisis. Sometimes people have to, but often they don't have to. I've seen a lot of people after, say, the loss of a spouse, they sell their house, they make all kinds of changes. And sometimes that's necessary, but most often it's not. With a little work around it, often they can hold on. And I knew one woman who sold her house as soon as her husband died, and she really made a mess of things. Now, she didn't have to sell her house. She could have stayed there forever and been comfortable, but she made one wrong decision, kind of like a domino effect after the other. Probably in her situation, it would have been wiser for her to stay put and give it time and let all the emotional part of it settle down enough so that she can make real clear decisions, and she did not. Sometimes people have no choice but to make a big decision. But like I said, most often with a little work to it, people can hold off on making big decisions. And often making big decisions during a crisis is sometimes not the right way to go if we don't have to. And I'm talking about unnecessary decisions. I'm not talking about necessary decisions. Sometimes we have to make necessary decisions during a crisis. I'm talking about the unnecessary ones that we don't have to make at that time. So I believe in putting unnecessary decisions on hold at that time and focusing on the information and making right choices and right decisions. Often people are very emotional, and sometimes they get upset with people that are trying to help them, well-intended people. And I think we need to remember, if someone's trying to help us, even if they're, not making, doing as good of a job as we're trying to do, or they're not, even, they're just trying to help, but their solutions, they don't have a solution or the right solution, or it's a mixed up solution. As long as we know that their intentions are good embrace that person as a person who's loving and caring. They may not have the solution, they may not have the right information, but they're there to support us. And I believe that it's very, very important to surround ourselves with people that can comfort us during a crisis, as well as people that can help navigate us through the crisis, and the right people that can help us solve that crisis. Okay, so I think that's really, really important. I think not making a knee-jerk reaction and not making unnecessary big decisions. I believe in simplifying. I believe in taking care of our health. Sometimes people let their health deteriorate during a crisis because they're so scared and upset and they can't sleep. It's important to get our sleep, our rest, and be strong during a crisis, not let ourselves get into a weakened physical or emotional state during a crisis, because if we do, it's going to be much harder to get through that crisis. So we've got to take care of our bodies, let things go that are unimportant, simplify, 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 surround ourselves with the right people, get the right information, be able to slow things down if we can. Don't make knee-jerk reactions. And often people make great big unnecessary decisions during a crisis or shortly thereafter a crisis. And often that is just not the right way to go. Sometimes we have to let things settle so that we can have clarity and be able to sort things out. So those are kind of the things that I see that happens to people when they go through a crisis, is that they often want to make quick knee-jerk reactions. They want quick answers that may not be the right answer. Sometimes the right answer takes time to unfold. If we don't have to make a quick decision, then often we're a lot better off, because we can still continue to gather information that will help point us in the right direction. And keep the faith. Keep the faith. Believe that you will get through. Prepare for the worst, but pray and hope for the best, and believe that you will get through it. So I've always believed in preparing for the worst. If you go into battle, you prepare for the worst so that you can, if you encounter the worst, you can get through the worst and get back to the best in life. And so if you don't prepare for the worst, often that can be far worse than preparing for the worst. So I believe in preparing for the worst, but hoping and praying and believing that you will get through it, that you will make it through to the other side, and that you will be successful, whether it's financial, whether it's health, whether it's a relationship, whatever it happens to be, that you're going to be okay. Okay? From my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.